everyone, and welcome to another edition of TSW, where I will be speaking on wrestling, relating it to the real world, and playing some music. So today, my focus is going to be on three topics. I'm going to be discussing the Golden Lovers versus Young Bucks from last night. Apparently, huge response, huge positive feedback regarding them. And then I'll also be speaking about WrestleMania that's coming up. But first, I want to start off with a very obvious topic that everyone in the wrestling industry, every podcast, every radio that speaks about wrestling, media that also focuses on wrestling should be talking about. And that is the return of Daniel Bryan. Sorry, I just got a little bit of emotional there. The reason being is Daniel Bryan's one of the few people, not just in the wrestling industry, but in the world, that everyone genuinely likes, regardless of if you share similar views to him. I mean, he's a vegan, I'm not a vegan. We have obviously opposite views there, but I mean, I would never ever hate a man. Well, I wouldn't hate anybody for having a difference of opinion regarding that, but I'm just saying that, we share some different ideologies, but I love me some Daniel Bryan, and I am so happy this man gets another chance at the thing that he loves the most. Well, obviously outside his family, but I'm speaking to non-human related love. I'm talking about his passion, his career, the thing that he was literally made to be a part of. 2 years ago, Daniel was told that he would never be able to wrestle again. And now he gets a chance to do that. And it is amazing. And in his talk, I loved the fact that he made his wife's support of him such a focal point. Because let's be honest, the Bella twins get a lot of flack for, being previous models and delving into other forms of entertainment. They get told that they're not into wrestling, that they're just for the fame. But to be honest, I don't see the Bella twins doing anything much different than most other wrestlers do. I mean, Johnny Mundo from Lucha Underground just had a movie that he's starring in debut on Netflix. Why do they get criticized for such things where, Johnny's on Glow and making movies and doing all this stuff himself, and other wrestlers as well? It's not uncommon for wrestlers to get into the entertainment business outside of wrestling because, to be fair, that's also a really good contingency plan. We know that wrestling, look at Daniel Bryan, for example, can be a hit or miss thing, in a sense that you could get injured you could be on top of the world one moment and then injured the next. And then what do you have? A lot of wrestlers in the past, they just had wrestling. And then once that was taken from them, they had nothing else. And then they would end up in destitution. So the fact that the Bella twins are creating this empire for themselves is nothing for them to be ashamed of. And they always speak to how Brie just married Daniel for his money. The woman makes around the same salary per year as he does. How is she marrying for his money? In fact, they're one of the few couples that has a pretty equal salary intake into their family household. And Daniel talked about how his wife pushed him, that she was the one that told him to keep fighting when he wanted to stop. that comes from a person who genuinely loves somebody. That doesn't come from someone who's just there. She would have dumped his butt if after he had to retire, if she was this vile woman that everyone accuses her of being. But she didn't. She stuck by him when he didn't even know what was going to happen. Even before he got the SmackDown GM role, he was in this place of limbo, of being lost. He went into a huge depression, and this woman helped him through that. That doesn't sound like a person who's there just for fame and money and doesn't care about him. She genuinely cares about Daniel Bryan. And it is important that you have somebody you care about when you go through something like that. Because it is easy, and as Daniel has attested to, it is easy when you lose something that you are passionate about to go inside yourself and let your emotions take over, and you can't think clearly because you are in so much pain and you are in such a deep depression that you have lost all hope. And Daniel spoke to that. He spoke to his struggles. And it was his wife, Bree, that said, I will always be here for you and I will always help you, but you have to keep fighting. She's the one that encouraged him. She's the one that set up, go see this specialist. Go see this specialist. You want to see this one? He said this. Go see another one. And just keep going and get a conclusive answer. She encouraged Daniel to embrace science and go to all these doctors that could look at him and figure out a way to determine whether or not he could wrestle again. That was her pushing him. And the fact that people will have still criticized her, I even saw some people making vile comments after Daniel praised her and the thank you Bree hashtag happened on Twitter. There were people who were just, she's just, fame whore, gold digger. It's like, no, she's not. And it's disgusting that you would say that about such a woman who clearly is creating businesses and working her butt off. Yes, she might not be the greatest of wrestlers, but she has a place in wrestling, And even with the whole Daniel Bryan thing, her place is to support the talented people in her life and be a supporting character to them, even if she herself can't be the star. She's always been there to help lift up, her sister and her husband and other people she's worked with. So she has her place in wrestling, even if she's not the best wrestler herself. And even her and Nikki, with everything that they do in media, they help to promote WWE. So the criticism she gets is just awful. And I love the fact that she helped Daniel, because he got to get out of that depression. And I know from personal experience what depression can do to you. The dark places your mind can go into that can destroy you. And she helped him through that. We don't know what could have happened to Daniel. We don't know how deep his depression could have gotten. Some wrestlers have committed suicide because of the depression they felt after their career was over, especially over at a younger age than they expected. But that's what people need. And I think Bree's proof of that. When someone loses everything that they hold dear in their life as far as their career goes, and they go into that depression, you need someone who's strong and intelligent to have your back. Because let's be honest, Daniel wouldn't have been able to come back if it wasn't for the strength and support of the people behind him that loved him, including his wife, who's the closest to him. And I have nothing but respect for the Bella twins, to be honest. I know everyone has flaws, and everyone does have flaws, but let's be honest, their flaws compared to the positivity that they actually put out in the world is a lot greater. And people talk about, they prevented other girls from getting back into the WWE, but let's be honest. What has Maria or Maurice actually contributed? They haven't contributed a lot since they came back. I mean, Maurice is awesome with Miz, but as far as wrestling skills goes, she hasn't contributed at all to her wrestling skills. So we're complaining about two women not being able to get back in the WWE that didn't really do much when they eventually came back. And the Bella twins, they constantly improved their wrestling skills. They were constantly learning throughout their years within the business. I mean, Nikki isn't in wrestling right now because she got injured. Her neck, she had to get neck surgery. That does not sound like a person who doesn't care about wrestling when you actually get injured for putting yourself out there. I think the Bella twins get a lot of flack, and I'm super happy that Daniel has the people in his life that he does, that love him and pushed him and told him to keep fighting, because that's a great message. That's a great message that Daniel and Brie have set. Brie giving the support and saying fight, 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 and Daniel listening and letting his wife help him. Because when you are in that state, you need help. You can't do stuff on your own. You just can't. So, coming up, I am going to play Tina Turner, River Deep, Mountain High, because it is a song to a woman and how much she loves her man. And I think Brie's love for her husband helped a lot in his recovery.
When I was a little girl, I had a rag doll, only doll I've ever owned. Now I love you just the way I love that rag doll, but only now my love has grown, and it gets stronger in every way, and it gets deeper. Let me say I've been searching for a trail to follow again. Take me back to the night we met, and then I can't tell myself what the hell I'm supposed to do. And then I can't tell myself not to ride along with you. I had all and then most of you, some and now none of you. Taking me back to the night we met. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, haunted by the ghost of you. Oh, take me back to the night we met, when the night was full of terror and your eyes were filled with tears, when you had not touched me yet. Oh, take me back to the night we met. I had all and then most of you, some and now none of you. Take me back to the night we met. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, haunted by the ghost of you. Take me back to the night we met.
All right, so now I'm going to speak to last night's match at New Japan Pro Wrestling between the Golden Lovers, which is Kenny Omega and Ibushi Kota, and the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson. Apparently, this match was amazing. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to watch it myself, being in Japan, and quite often their nights are on a work night for me, so in a sense a school night, so I usually have to watch that stuff afterwards. But what I have been seeing on social media is that match was everything people were hoping for, which is great, because those four guys are definitely the top elite, pun intended, in wrestling. And it's so cool to see that WWE isn't the only place where a lot of the most respected top talent in the world aren't necessarily there. And because of social media, there's a downfall to social media in the sense that a lot of ignorant views get passed around, and a lot of fake news and fake facts that have brainwashed people in a sense. For wrestling, though, it has been a great benefit because it has allowed fans to gain access to other promotions that they might not even know about. And this has allowed wrestlers to have freedom because they don't have to just go to one company that used to have a monopoly in order to make a good living for themselves. And these guys are great examples of it because they make a killer amount of money. I mean, they have a deal with Hot Topic to sell their merchandise. That's pretty cool because Hot Topic is popping up everywhere. And one thing that I want to read is from Vinny Massero. It's one of his tweets. I like this guy. Vinny's from Lucha Underground, and he's like a great guy to follow on Twitter when it comes to wrestling. Also because, you know, if you're not a total dick, you can even disagree with Vinny, and he'll have a civil conversation with you. The only time he gets pissy is when people are being dicks. But like, I've disagreed with Vinny in the past, and he's never like freaked out on me. A lot of people think that, you know, when someone is disagreeing with you, that's why you block them. No. A lot of us can deal with disagreement. It's just, in some cases, people on Twitter start to become very abusive or very just overly ignorant. And they just keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you until you snap back. So Vinny, I would say, is a great guy to watch because he talks about all the various promotions as well. And his one tweet, which is great, kind of sums up what I've been seeing on Twitter about this match. He says, "I've been in wrestling for 20 years. If a match makes me forget that I'm a worker, it makes me feel like a fan, then the match is extremely good. Thank you, Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, Kenny Omega, Ibushi Kodo." Sorry, Kato. Koda? Sorry. I'm not really good with names. It's not even the fact that it's a Japanese name. I'm not even good with English names. I've never been great with language. But yeah, it's great to see that this match has turned out the way it has, especially because it's been so LGBTQ positive. And Kenny even spoke out when people were talking about the feud, particularly those within the LGBTQ community, how they can relate so much to wrestling and into that storyline. And Kenny spoke about how he wants to make wrestling more inclusive for everybody. He wants people who are transgendered or gay or bisexual or pansexual or whatever sexual you want an R to feel welcome at shows. And they should. Because let's be honest, wrestling is a crazy form of entertainment. A lot of different freaks have gone throughout the whole history of wrestling. You had the Boogeyman, you had, you know, the Undertaker's even sort of a freakish character. You know, and so wrestling should be a place where you can have your freak flag fly, in a sense. And people within the LGBTQ community should feel welcome at the shows. We shouldn't have them feeling horrible and feeling unsafe and like they're going to get harassed. Because that's not fair at all. That's like bullying somebody for the color of their skin or their hair color or their gender or any of those stupid reasons why people are bigots. And I love the fact that Kenny Omega, who is arguably the top talent in the wrestling industry, is saying, this is what we want. We want to show you positive versions of, you know, relationships that aren't traditionally heterosexual being played out in a I guess sort of overly cheesy, disrespectful way. Because when you look at WWE in the past when they dealt with LGBTQ characters, they were always something to mock. They were heels that were over sexualized, that sexually harassed other male wrestlers, like Goldust, for example. So it's great to see that Kenny wants to work towards wrestling being able to represent characters and storylines that are positive for that community, where they're not hokey, they're not cheesy, they're not stereotypical, that they're real, and that anyone can relate to them, really. It's not just about being these flamboyant heel characters that make people feel uncomfortable like they have been in the past, but that they are just like everyone else, because guess what? We are. I'm bisexual. I'm just like everyone else. I know a lot of gay people. They're just like everyone else. In that we are all different and diverse, and we aren't all one type of way of being. We really aren't. Like, I have a friend who, came out of the closet when we were 15, and he didn't embrace the regular stereotypes of being a gay man. He didn't get into fashion. He didn't get into being overly feminine. He didn't get into all those things you would expect a gay person to get into. He stayed his same old geeky self, and I love him for it. I love his geekiness. I love the fact that I go to his apartment and he has Nintendo figurines set up, and he has his consoles and his big screen TV because he's huge into video games, and he wears his basic outfit that he always has, which is a pair of pants, a t-shirt, and a hoodie or a plaid shirt over top. He's pretty much like any and every basic guy in as far as his fashion goes. He's not huge into fashion. He has his outfit, which is comfortable, and I love it because he is like, I'm a gay man, but I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to fall into these stereotypes. And that's what I love, what's happening with the Golden Lovers and the story that they're telling, because Kenny and Ibushi don't behave overly gay. And I mean, we're not even sure whether they're supposed to be a couple or just best friends, but a lot of people are embracing their relationship because it is not that far off to how most relationships are, regardless of whether it's gay, straight, or multiple people within the relationship. It's just about love, respect, communication, and trust. Those are the bases. And it's awesome to see that we're moving into an area in wrestling where you can come out, be out. You won't be made into this caricature of what it is to be a gay person, and you can just be yourself, and it's awesome. Now, not to say if anyone is stereotypically gay, if that's who you genuinely are a fashionista who's flamboyant, power to you, so long as that's who you genuinely are. But if that's not who you genuinely are, don't play into those stereotypes. And I don't think any sort of form of entertainment should do that unless it's somebody who have those stereotypes. It's the one kind of running the story. So I'm glad that the match went well, and I'm really happy for the progression that the story of the Young Bucks versus the Golden Lovers has played in making people within the community feel more welcomed in the wrestling business, in the wrestling industry, and in being a fan. And I hope this continues. And I hope people know that just because there might still be some ignorant tools out there, it's progressing, it's getting better, and most fans aren't dicks. Just some of them. So, in honor of that, up next, I'm going to play two great, well-known LGBTQ artists. First up, we have Queen. We Are the Champions. And then Katie Lang. Got to play some Canadian music, and plus I just like Katie Lang. So I hope you enjoy.
I've paid my dues time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my shells and kicks in my face, but I've come through. I need to go on, on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. I've taken my bows and my curtain calls. You brought me fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. I thank you all, but it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. I consider it a challenge before the whole human race, and I ain't gonna lose. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end.
right, so now I'm going to speak to what's coming up. And that would be about the biggest night of the year in wrestling, WrestleMania. Now, despite the fact that a lot of the wrestlers on here are greatly talented, I'm not as excited for WrestleMania as I have been in the past. And that might be because the past couple ones were not that great. And it's kind of unfortunate that once again it looks like Roman Reigns will be main eventing WrestleMania. Why AJ and Shinsuke aren't is beyond my comprehension, because why would you not want to end WrestleMania on such a high note? And that match is guaranteed to be a first class match. So I don't get what's happening. And it's not that I'm against Joe Inoue himself. I like Joe. I see a lot of potential in him. And I don't think he's a bad wrestler either. He puts on pretty good matches. I just think the character of Roman Reigns is played out. He's dull. And to be honest, I don't even think Joe likes his character right now. I feel like he himself is just as frustrated as the rest of us in wanting to have a dramatic character change and get to explore different aspects of himself. But Vince kind of keeps keeping him in this box and is trying to push him on us as if he's the next Hulk Hogan or John Cena. But we don't need another Hulk Hogan or John Cena. They've proven that they kind of make wrestling dull. I mean, Hulk Hogan led us to the craptastic 90s of dullness, and Cena led us to this horrendous PG era that we're trying to crawl out of. But I think with Roman, the best thing for him is to give him the Rock treatment. He keeps getting booed. Change his character dramatically like you did his cousin. That worked for The Rock. You don't think that's not going to work for Roman, especially with the connections he has to Dwayne Johnson? I'm pretty sure he can go get some advice pretty easily. And the fact that Brock Lesnar is his opponent too. Oh my goodness. At least if you're going to put Roman Reigns in the main event yet again, give him somebody who can help him look good in the match. Not Brock boring Lesnar. I really don't understand this guy's appeal. He's just like every teenage boy's wet dream of what they want to be when they grow up. And that's kind of the only praise he gets is from young males. The rest of us don't really like Brock Lesnar. He doesn't even like wrestling. Like, why is someone who doesn't even like or watch wrestling continuously at the top of the industry, especially with a title, when he's a part-timer and he's lazy in the ring? So we got a lazy guy in the ring who doesn't even watch wrestling and works part-time. And WWE wonders why fans complain. It's not that shocking why they're losing a lot of viewership, especially when you have such connections in this day and age to other promotions. Why isn't AJ and Nakamura ending WrestleMania? And I love the fact that Finn Balor is in a match, but he's in the wrong title match. He should be in the WWE Championship match. The Universal Championship match. And so should Braun Strowman. That I could see. So really what it should be, you have AJ and Shin as the main event, and then the match before is a triple threat for the Universal title with Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor. You have Braun and Brock beat the crap out of each other, wear each other out. Balor, being the smart guy he is, takes advantage of that. He lets them wear out, and then he does a few things himself because they're worn out. He takes advantage. 1, 2, 3, wins the title back. Because seriously, when is this guy getting his rematch? It's ridiculous. I'm going to be honest. The only matches I'm really excited for is Alexis versus Nia Jax, because finally Nia is getting the recognition she deserves and getting a title match in a WrestleMania moment, and I hope she wins. She should win. And then Charlotte versus Asuka, that's going to be an awesome match. That's going to be one of the matches that women in the future look to when they want to kind of learn from tape. Look at what that happens. I feel like that's going to be Charlotte and Asuka, because these are very technically sound women who can go at it. That's going to be awesome. And I'm definitely interested in the Bar versus Braun Strowman, despite the fact that I think Braun should be in the Universal Championship match. I'm interested in seeing if he's going to actually have a tag team partner, and who that's going to be. We'll see. It would be kind of cool if he just did it by himself, but at the same time, it would be also awesome for a surprise either return or newcomer. Who knows? One of the other things I'm massively disappointed in, why is Becky Lynch regulated to just a women's battle royal? How many times do the fans have to scream for this woman to get a chance before you actually give her a chance? I mean, considering the screen time and the wrestling opportunities that WWE gives Becky, the fact that she is still as over as she is tells you something about her. People don't forget about Becky. I mean, look at the first women Money in the Bank ladder match. When Becky got close to that briefcase, that was the loudest response the entire match got. Every time she got close to it, everyone said, yes, she's going to win, she's going to win, she's going to win. And she should have won. Because that was a disgrace on how they ended the first Money in the Bank match for women. A disgrace. A man touched the briefcase and put it down and just threw it to a woman. That's horrendous. It should have been Becky. It should have been Becky. We all know it, but WWE does not seem to know it. So the fact that she's just in a women's battle royal at WrestleMania, it's sad. She's like one of the most genuinely over people in the business. Take advantage of that. She's technically sound. She's adorable. She's hilarious on the mic and doing promos. And she's unique. She sticks out. Physically, aesthetically, she sticks out. So come on, WWE. Get your crap together. You're talking about a women's revolution, but you ignore a lot of your best female talent to push other women that nobody cares about. Like Ronda Rousey. Most people don't care about her outside of casual fans. And quite frankly, we're really skeptical. I'm hoping that at WrestleMania, Ronda shocks us all, but I don't know. As a wrestler, I can see her doing a good job, technically speaking, as far as moves go, but wrestling is more than just fighting. It's about creating a character. It's about doing promos. It's about being able to speak. It's about being able to create a complex story for yourself. Ronda Rousey's just Ronda Rousey. And she's destined right now to be another Brock Lesnar that the WWE just focuses a lot on, but the fans are really turned off by. She's going to either need her own Paul Heyman or a lot of acting classes. Anyways, in honor of women, though, because the women's matches are what interests me the most, I'm going to play a couple of songs to end my show. And that will be Destiny's Child, Independent Women, and Swan by Willa. I hope you enjoy. Have a good night.
Lucy Lou, with my girl Drew, Cameron D and Destiny, Charlie's Angels, come on. Bring it. Question, tell me what you think about me. I buy my own diamonds and I buy my own rings. Only ring your celly when I'm feeling lonely. When it's all over, please get up and leave. Question, tell me how you feel about this. Try to control me, boy, you get dismissed. Pay my own condo and I pay my own bills. Always 50-50 in relationships. The shoes on my feet, I buy. The clothes I'm wearing, I buy. The rock I'm rocking, I buy. 'Cause I depend on me. If I wanted the watch I'm wearing, I buy. The house I live in, I buy. The car I'm driving, I buy. I depend on me. I depend on me. All the women who independent, throw your hands up at me. All the hunters making money, throw your hands up at me. All the mamas who rock the dollar, throw your hands up at me. All the ladies who truly feel me, throw your hands up at me. Girl, I didn't know you could get down like that. Charlie, how your angels get down like that. Girl, I didn't know you could get down like that. Charlie, how your angels get down like that. Tell me how you feel about this. Do what I want, live how I wanna live. I worked hard and sacrificed to get what I get. Ladies, it ain't easy being independent. Question, how'd you like this knowledge that I brought? Bragging on that cash that he gave you is the front. If you're gonna brag, make sure it's your money you fund. Depend on no one else to give you what you want. The shoes on my feet, I buy. The clothes I'm wearing, I buy. The rock I'm rocking, I buy. 'Cause I depend on me. If I wanted the watch I'm wearing, I buy. The house I live in, I buy. The car I'm driving, I buy. I depend on me. I depend on me. All the women, hey, throw your hands up at me. All the hunters making money, throw your hands up at me, baby. Rock the dollar, throw your hands up at me. All the ladies who truly feel me, throw your hands up at me. Get down like that. Charlie, how your angels get down like that. Girl, I didn't know you could get down like that. Charlie, how your angels get down like that. Destiny's Child, what's up? You and I have. Show up. We'll break these people off, angel style. Child of destiny, independent. No one else can all the women independent, throw your hands up at me. All the honeys who making money, throw your hands up at me. All the mamas who profit dollar, throw your hands up at me. All the ladies who truly feel me, throw your hands up at me. Girl, I didn't know you could get down like that. Charlie, how your angels get down like that. Girl, I didn't know you could get down like that. Charlie, how your angels get down like that. Girl, I didn't know you could get down like that.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
I'm not in love.
right, so I hope everyone enjoyed my ranting tonight, and I hope everyone found entertainment in it, found some knowledge in it as well. We spoke to depression and how the proper caring of someone who loves you can help you achieve something great and help you get back to where you need to be in order to be the best person you can be. We spoke to how there is a great movement happening within wrestling that is looking to be more inclusive with different types of people. And we also spoke to how, honestly, the most interesting matches that are happening at WrestleMania are the women's matches. It's great to see that wrestling is starting to grow and change, and I hope it continues to progress for the future.